Hey, welcome to the discussion for 4.5. I think there's only 8 problems in this homework, but it's maybe a bit of a nasty one for some of you. Matrices aren't easy when you see them for the first time. A few of the comments in the sections were, "This sucks," and I get it, but let's do a couple of these problems. The first one I want to start with is fairly straightforward. So this is section 4.5. And we'll do number 3 to start. So it says take this system of equations, turn it into a matrix, and then solve, right? So the system is 2x plus 3y equals -5. And then x minus 4y equals 14. So I have a system. The first thing I want to do is turn it into a matrix and then solve it, right? So I just take this and I grab all of the coefficients. So this as a matrix is, and I'll try to fit all the work on one board so I don't have to erase anything. But some of these get long, so hopefully I'll make it. This is 2, 3, -5. 1, -4, 14, right? And you don't have to follow my method. You'll hurt my feelings if you don't. No, I'm just kidding, you won't, but it's nice and easy if you do follow my method. Until you get more comfortable with what you can and can't do, it will, tackle almost every matrix you come across. But to start, I'd want to get a 1 in my upper left-hand corner. And it's easy in this case just to switch these two to get that 1 there. Right. So bottom row becomes the top row. That's 1, -4, 14. 2, 3, -5. And without having to do any calculations or arithmetic, I've got my 1 there. Right. The next, I'd want to go down kind of in this circular pattern. I want to turn this 2 into a 0 by using that 1. So that is to say, I'm going to take -2 of row 1 and add it to row 2. Because ignoring everything else that's happening over here, if I take -2 times this 1, I get a -2. And add it back to that 2 gives me 0, and that's what I want. Right? And I'm not going to touch row 1 here, it's just going to move over. So row 1 is 1, -4, -4, 14. Row 2 though, I'm going to take -2 row 1, so -2 times 1 is -2, add that to the 2, and that gives me 0. That's what I want. -2 times the element in row 1, -2 times -4 is a positive 8, plus the element from row 2, so I have 8 plus 3, that's 11. And -2 times 14 is -28, plus -5 is -33. It's always a good day when you get to this point and these two are both divisible by what number is here, because I'm going to divide both of these by 11 to get my next 1 in this position. So that gives me then, top row again stays the same, 1, -14, 4, sorry, this should be a 4, not a 14. So 1, -4, 14. And then the bottom row is getting divided by 11, so that's 0, 1, and -3. And I'm halfway to a solution. Y is -3, but I'm really 3/4 of the way through the work here, because the next step is my last step. I want to get rid of this -4, and I can use this 1 to do that. That is to say, I'm going to take 4 row 2's and add it into row 1, because again, 4 times this 1, ignoring everything else, just what's happening here, 4 times 1 is 4, plus -4 is 0, that's what I want, but it also doesn't mess up this first column, right? So the bottom stays the same, so that's 0, 1, -3. The top is 4 row 2's plus row 1, so 4 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1, that's great, that's what I want. 4 times 1 is 4, plus -4 is 0. 4 times -3 is -12, plus 14 is 2, and I'm done. My solution is x equals 2, y equals 3, or in ordered pair notation is this, 2, -3. And again, that was my pretty straightforward example. Let's take a look at 6, where things start to get a little bit less easy. Six is the same question. Take this system and solve it using matrices. But I have 4x plus 2y equals 6, and 7x plus 6y equals 8. So as a matrix, that is just 4, 2, 6, 7, 6, 8. And my first step is to get that 1 in where that 4 is. But I can't just swap the rows. I can't take one row minus the other row. It's not going to get me there, right? But I can notice that this 4, if I were to double it, would be 8. And 8 minus 7 is 1. So double the top row minus the bottom row, that's going to get me the 1 that I want. That is to say, 2 row 1s minus row 2 to become the new row 1, that's what I want to happen. And I'm going to leave row 2 alone. So 7, 6, 8 on the bottom still. But here I'm doubling the top row and then subtracting the bottom row. Be careful with your arithmetic. You're doing 6 operations, well, basically 6 operations in a row here. You're going to double this, subtract that, double, subtract, double, subtract. So be careful with it, but double 4 is 8, minus 7 is 1. 8 minus 7, 1. Double 2 is 4, 4 minus 6 is negative 2. And then double 6 is 12, subtract 8 is 4. And I've got the 1 where I want it. The next thing I want is the 7 to be a 0. So I'm not going to touch the top row, but to get this to be a 0, I can always use that 1, and I'll just take negative 7 of the top row and add it to the bottom row. So negative 7 row 1 added to row 2. Top row is not changing, so that's 1, negative 2, 4. Bottom row is negative 7 row 1 plus row 2, so negative 7 times 1 is negative 7, plus 7 is 0. Negative 7 times negative 2 is a positive 14, plus 6 is 20. Negative 7 times 4 is negative 28, plus 8 is negative 20. Again, it's always a good thing to see these two, this be a multiple of this, because if I can divide by this number, divide by 20 here, I get the 1 there, nice and easy. So top row doesn't change, 1, negative 2, 4. Bottom row I'm dividing by 20, so I get 0, 1, negative 1, and I know that y is negative 1. Now I want the 0 here, and I'm going to use this to get it. So I take 2 row 2's and add it to row 1. Bottom's going to stay the same, so I get 0, 1, negative 1. Top is 2 row 2's plus row 1, so 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. Great. 2 times 1 is 2, plus negative 2 is 0. Great. I have what I want on the left-hand side here. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, plus 4 is a positive 2, and that's my solution. X is 2, y is negative 1. And you can always take these and check them, right? 2 times 4 is 8, negative 1 times 2 is negative 2, and 8 and negative 2 is indeed 6. 2 times 7 is 14, negative 1 times 6 is negative 6, and 14 minus 6 is indeed 8, and it's verified. That's our solution. Alright, so this one is a little, I would call it straightforward as well. The numbers in front you know, you have to be a little creative to see how to get that 1 without making life miserable. But on this next one, it takes a little more creativity. Let's look at number 7. Which is again the same question, but we have, that is the one. This system, 2x plus 3y equals -9. And 4x minus y equals 17. Okay. First, I'm going to write this as a matrix, right? So this becomes 2, 3, -9, 4, -1, 17. Now, it doesn't look terrible, but if I try to go through my method and get a 1 here, my step 1 doesn't look great. Because I can't double this. Double 2 is 4. Subtract your 4, you get a 0, not a 1. The only way to get a 1 out of 2 evens is to multiply one of them by a half, right? At some point. So you've got 2 options. You can just suck it up and deal with the fact that you're going to have fractions from the get-go. Or you can say, well, I'll come back to this spot later and let's just start on the bottom left and get a 0, right? At the end of the day, what I really want is a 1, 0, 0, 1, but it doesn't matter if I start here and go around or if I start here and go around. I can start at this 4 and whip around and end at the 2, right? I can get a 0 in the bottom left, easy. -2, wrote this really big, but I'm going to go -2, maybe I'll write it up here, row 1s and add it to row 2. That's what I want to do to become my new row 2. Right? And so my row 1 I'm just going to leave alone. I'll come back to that 2 later. It's probably not going to be a 2 by the time I get to it. But I'll come back to that spot, right? But -2 row 1 plus row 2 becomes my new row 2. So -2 times 2 is -4, plus 4 is 0. Great. That's what I want there, and that's what I want to stay there. -2 times 3 is -6, plus -1 is -7. -2 times -9 is a positive 18, plus 17 is 35. Yeah. And if this were a 1, I would be 3/4 of the way through, right? But it's not. I'm just going to whip back around, so I'm just going to keep going and doing the same stuff that I've been doing. Divide that second one by -7, leave the top alone. So 2, 3, -9. And dividing by -7 gives me 1 and -5. So 0, 1, -5. And I'm halfway in both my work and to a solution. Y is -5. I want this 3 to be a 0, and I'm going to use this 1 to do that. So -3 row 2s plus row 1. Bottom's going to stay the same. That's 0, 1, -5. -3 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. -3 times 1 is -3, plus 3 is 0. -3 times -5 is a positive 15, minus 9 is a 6. And then I just have to divide the top one by 2. Right? That gives me 1, 0, 3, 0, 1, -5, and I was able to avoid fractions and decimals through the entire thing all the way to the end I mean, because they are not decimals, but I didn't have to introduce them on step one. And if I can do that, I want to, because I'm doing all of this arithmetic through the entire thing. If I have to stop and do arithmetic with decimals or fractions, then life gets miserable. But that's how I would tackle that, and we have our solution, 3, -5. So hopefully that was helpful, and I will see you guys for the next one.